네, 이어서 가상화폐 헤지펀드 대표 기업인 비템퍼의 제임스 방 대표의 강연이 이어지도록 하겠습니다. 가상화폐와 ICO 투자에 대한 주제 발표가 이어지겠습니다. 여러분, 대표님을 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다.
Korea. This country has more than triple the adoption rate in Bitcoin when compared to the United States. That means 1 in 3 Koreans in this room have probably owned or invested in cryptocurrency. Can I get a show of hands if you have either currently owned Bitcoin or have invested in crypto? A little more than a third. It's very impressive. I actually realized I prepared all the material in English, so I'm going to try and translate some of this in Korean, if you can bear with me. There's a story, a famous story about a boy who called Wolf. That was me. I told everyone about Bitcoin when it was around $100 in the Korean community. I got 0% interest. No one would listen to anything I had to say when the price was 100. They called me crazy for promoting some unheard of technology. They called me a scammer. I got criticized for promoting Bitcoin when it was 100. When price reached 1,000, things started to change a little bit. There was about a 10% interest in people that we'd speak to. But then something happened in December of last year. The price hit 10,000 and my phone just kept blowing up from people I haven't heard of in 10 years. They're calling me, asking me about Bitcoin. And all of my parents' friends who are Korean started asking to have meetings with me to discuss cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And that's when the price started to increase. And you can see a direct correlation between Bitcoin interest and the price. One thing I've learned, I've been in Bitcoin since 2014, is patience. If you're patient in this industry, you will get rewarded. Don't expect to make a lot of money overnight. Things take years to develop in this space. I'll give you an example. That's Ken Lo, the founder of ANX Exchange in Hong Kong. In 2015, it was a struggling exchange, losing and burning a lot of money. Fast forward 2018, they have one of the largest OCT trading companies doing hundreds of million dollars in volume. Same with blockchain.info. They couldn't monetize their website back then, but now with ICOs and advertising, they're highly profitable. It's also very important that everybody starts building their network in Bitcoin. In 2014, this was a meetup in Hong Kong. No one here was anybody. These were all regular guys just meeting up for a drink and talking about Bitcoin. Fast forward a few years, that's Arthur Hayes, the founder of BitMEX, the largest cryptocurrency exchange for traders. There's Diakul. It's one of the top lawyers in the industry now. He's done multiple ICOs for hundreds of millions of dollars. And there's George Harapple, so he's got a remittance company called BitSpark. So give it time, build your network, and be patient, because the rewards will come. And you got to get to know everyone. Just get to know people, because this is such a fast-moving industry that somebody who might just be a regular guy today can be the next CEO of a major Bitcoin company. And I think that only happens in Bitcoin. So these are some things I wish people had told me when I got into Bitcoin 6 years ago. Unfortunately, I had to learn these lessons pretty painfully. First, even though Warren Buffett, he doesn't agree with Bitcoin. He's not a Bitcoiner. However, his investment advice in stock applies to this industry today. Be fearful when others are greedy. So when everyone back in December was going crazy buying Bitcoin during the kimchi premium, People who've been in this space a long time, when we saw that 20, 30, 50% premium, we got nervous and we started to sell and unload. Now, you want to be greedy when others are fearful. There's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines waiting to enter Bitcoin. People don't know when's the bottom, so they're kind of holding off. But it will come. And if you take the risk now, when the price is low, that's when you get rewarded. You want to do the opposite of what everyone's doing. It's not easy, but you will be profitable if you follow that one advice from Warren Buffett. Do your research when it comes to coins. I have a cryptocurrency hedge fund in Hong Kong, and we have a lot of clients come in asking us to invest their money. When they ask us to invest their money, they tell us about this coin, that coin, but they have really no knowledge in this, and they've told us they've lost a lot of money in the past, so I'm really surprised. When you put your hard-earned money, there was such a lack of research put in. So my advice to anyone who invests in crypto and altcoins or ICO is do your research. Number 3, hodl. It's supposed to be hold, but it became a bit of a big meme amongst Bitcoiners, and we call it hodl. It means hold on for dear life, because the cryptocurrency space is very volatile. I've had clients come in expecting this to be a bear market forever, a bull market forever, right? Back in January, everyone thought this is going to hit $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. But that's not the case. This is Bitcoin. We have bull markets and we have bear markets. We're currently in a bear market. This actually wasn't a bad one. It was around 75, 80%. A few years ago, we had a 90% bear market, which lasted 2 years. In the early days, we even had a 99% drop. You don't lose any money until you sell. So I'm sure there are some people in this room who invested back in December, January at the peaks. And your position may not look very good right now. But I promise you, if you hold this, you will see a profit in the next few years, because we are at a very, very early stage in the Bitcoin industry. We're probably, if you compare this to the internet, we're at around 1998. That means major social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, these have not been developed yet. And that's where we are in crypto. Everyone in this room is an early adopter. Everybody. Don't think you're late, because we're still very early. Next, security. I'll be honest, I've made a few of these mistakes. Who knows what's two-factor authentication here? Do you guys all use it when you trade? I hope you do, because if you don't, you're probably going to get hacked and lose a lot of Bitcoins. So make sure you have two-factor on all your exchanges. And don't use the same username and passwords. Please, please, because that's just begging to have your money stolen. And the last one, I've done this a couple times, sending Bitcoins to the wrong address. Especially if it's a big amount, it can give you a real heart attack. So double, triple check the addresses. Because even between coins, you've got Bitcoin and Tether that shares the same address format, and you can easily lose your coins. So always double check, triple check. Lastly, take profit. Greed is your enemy. I've had a lot of trades where I try to get that extra 10, 20%. And by trying to get that, looking for that next double or triple, I wound up from a profitable position to a losing position. Everyone thinks this is it, this is a pump, this is the double or triple. But I promise you, 9 out of 10 times, you'll be wrong. So take profit when you can. Over the long run, you'll gain more by taking a small 10, 20% profit than chasing the next 10x. I'm going to introduce our company a little bit. I'm from Bitemper. Bitemper is a cryptocurrency hedge fund based in Hong Kong. We do allocations for promising ICO projects, big ones such as Telegram. We bring to Korea. We bring our allocation to Korea for Korean investors. Another thing we do is crypto asset management. We manage funds for high net worth individuals who are interested in investing in the cryptocurrency space. We help them manage their portfolio and advise on what coins to hold or sell. We also have a cryptocurrency arbitrage fund. As you guys know from Korea, there's a huge price difference between countries to countries, between coins and coins. And this is going to continue because Bitcoin is such a new market. It's only been 7-8 years. There's going to be price discrepancies for the next few years until this market matures. So take advantage of this. The last thing we do is forecasting and consulting for clients and other blockchain companies. Cash Cow Coin. This is a project that I'm working on myself in Indonesia. This is an ICO. It's a gamified social blockchain investment platform. So what does it do? So TechWire Asia says Cash Cow Coin fuels cow farmers with a new ICO. What we want to do, our mission, is to help farmers live a better life. A cow, it's a big industry in Korea too. A calf is worth around $1,000 US. Give it 6 to 8 months, and this calf will grow into a cow and be worth around $2,000 US. So there's good money to be made in this. However, the problem is farmers typically can't afford to buy a whole cow. $1,000 in places such as Indonesia is very difficult for somebody to save. It can take them a year or two just to get an extra cow to feed their family. So what we have identified in Indonesia is that they have a 250,000-ton deficit in cattle consumption because it's a Muslim-based country. They don't eat pork. Their number one meat is cattle. And so they're having to import over 250,000 tons. And the president of Indonesia has a very ambitious goal of being self-sufficient by the year 2025, which is only 7 years away. That creates an opportunity. That means they're importing $860 million worth of cows from places such as Australia and buffalo from India. So there's a massive opportunity in order to be self-sufficient. $860 million worth of cattle has to be grown domestically. Solution? Cash Cow Coin. What we want to do is connect investors directly with farmers. And through the coin, investors will be able to directly purchase a cow, and we will then deliver that cow to the farmers, and the full profits will be shared amongst the farmers and the investors. Typically in the commodity space, you're not investing. You're speculating on the price of coffee, on the price of cattle, but this allows direct investment from investor to farmer with no middlemen whatsoever. South China Morning Post in Hong Kong called it an Airbnb for cows. Our mission, we want to improve the quality of lives for farmers as well. We will be increasing their profit margins by 50%, over 50%, from 20 to 33%. Not only that, by providing an extra cow or two for them, they'll be making double, triple the income that they're used to earning. It's really going to make a huge impact in Southeast Asia. Now, we have some advisors on board to make this happen. We have over $100 million worth of experience in this ICO market on our board. Tom Bollick, do you guys know Zynga? How many of you have played Farmville on Facebook? Some. So Facebook had a very popular game created by Zynga. It has over 70 million users. And I happened to bump into Tom at a Bitcoin conference, the co-founder of Zynga and CTO. I had told him about Cash Cow Coin, and I didn't know who he was. And he was telling me that he's the co-founder of Zynga and that he actually made a farming game with virtual currency, and that he thought it would be amazing if we could do this with real digital currency. So this is the future, the evolution from a simple game to an actual gamified investment platform. And he's probably the only person in the world who's done both an IPO and an ICO. And they've done a $7 billion IPO as well. Now, obviously, marketing is important too. So we recruited Nadav from Gladius. They successfully raised $15 million for their ICO and was featured in just about every major publication. A lawyer, crucial when it comes to ICOs as well. You actually saw a picture of Adam earlier from Diacle. I didn't realize that I had met him 4 years ago. I actually thought I just met him a few months ago when we had our first meeting. But as that picture shows, you never know who you'll meet in the past and who they'll be in the future. And Adam recently oversaw a $33 million ICO for a company called Bank to the Future, which sold out in less than 3 minutes. Our strategy, as we mentioned, is to provide calves and allow investors to invest directly into farms. This is our timeline. We'll be going to Indonesia next month. Actually, if anyone will be in Indonesia around May the 9th, you're all welcome to come to a blockchain event there in Jakarta, where Cash Cow Coin will be the keynote presenter and title sponsor for the event in May. And we hope to be able to negotiate a deal directly with the Indonesian government, because the current Indonesian government funding only has around 15 million. That's a lot of money for this country. But we hope to raise more than double that. We hope to do 30 million to help the farmers. We'll be doing a pre-sale in June, public sale in July. We'll distribute our tokens in August. We're actually currently in negotiations with a few exchanges in the top 20. I can't name who they are, but we have secured exchange partners already, so they'll be tradable immediately following distribution, and we hope to launch the investment platform the following month. Now, people always ask me, James, what do you hold? What are you investing in? Well, it really depends on what the market is, right? Because if it's a bear market, you kind of don't want to hold too many altcoins because they drop much more ferociously than Bitcoin. On the flip side of that, if it's a bull market, you probably want to hold less Bitcoin and speculate a bit more because you have a much greater chance of getting greater and greater returns in altcoins in a bull market. So don't take that as gospel. That always shifts. But what is key is that you need a good, diverse portfolio. Bitcoin, it's the reserve currency of all cryptocurrency. If you want to invest in an ICO, you need Ethereum, and Ethereum needs Bitcoin. Everything leads to Bitcoin. So you need a good amount in your portfolio. Second, we call these large caps. Top 6 tokens. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Ripple because I don't see that as a true decentralized cryptocurrency because more than 80% is held by the company. So I'd go with Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and EOS. You also want some medium caps because they have the potential to become a future large cap. Out of those, don't know where Charles is here, but I do like Cardano, Binance, and Lisk. Then you have your speculation side. This is where you kind of aim for the moon. You go for the 10x, the 100x. And what we have here in our portfolio is a token called BF token, which just launched last week on Bitfinex. It was only around 6 cents when we invested last week. Today, that coin a week later is 15 cents. We also invested in Telegram, and we have an upcoming allocation in Rootstock, which has the potential to be the next Ethereum. Now, what are the future opportunities? Bitcoin is a huge disruptor. It's going to disrupt Silicon Valley, the banking industry, and Wall Street. You already are seeing pushback from the banking industry right now. It's impossible to open a bank account if you're a Bitcoin business where I'm from in Hong Kong. You got to tell them you're a technology company. And then once you have too many transactions, your accounts get shut down. So there is a real war against Bitcoin from the banking industry, and they always use KYC as an excuse, even though you do your own due diligence and KYC on your customers. Next, ICOs. I see it as currency creation. We live in a truly amazing time where ordinary people, businesses, can create their own currency or tokens without the permission of a government or a central bank. We've never had a time like this in history, and everyone needs to take advantage. But build something good, something that will change the world in a positive direction. This industry has been tainted by so many scams and projects that are just not going to go anywhere, that are copycats of copycats of copycats. We lack innovation. We need to find our path as an industry and pursue projects that will truly change the world, which is a gift of an ICO, rather than abusing it for a quick dollar. Where do I see us today? I mentioned earlier, I think we're at around 1998 when you compare this to the internet cycle. There's going to be a very, very big crash in the coming years. Maybe next year, maybe 3 years. But it's going to hurt because there's just too much crap out there right now in this industry. We have too many projects that are just not going to make it and are just in the blockchain industry to make a quick dollar. Well, all these companies are in for a rude awakening because in the upcoming collapse for this bubble in the next couple years, they will all be wiped out. Investors will get hurt. However, there's going to be a brighter future coming from this, and only the best will survive. And that will lead the way for the future of this industry. Lastly, I did mention earlier that I'm Korean. Even though I was born overseas and lived overseas my whole life, my mother is Korean. I'm actually really proud of what I see here, and I'm really blown away that Korea has such great adoption. And I believe Korea has the potential not just to be the leader in Asia, but the world when it comes to cryptocurrency. And everybody in this room, investors, CEOs, can make a big difference in whether Korea will succeed as a leader or fall. If you chase that quick dollar, it's going to fail. But if you do your due diligence, be wise in your investments, don't just throw your money at any random ICO. As an investor, I've spoken to hundreds and hundreds of projects, and I can tell you less than 1% is going to make it. It's your hard-earned money. Treat it with respect before you invest in ICOs, and hopefully your money will go in promising future projects that will allow Korea to be an industry leader. Thank you.